In this tutorial, I'm showing you step by step how to create the most stunning chocolate and raspberry New Year's mini cakes. I'll show you how to master 8 essential entremet layer techniques and how to build every layer of the cakes from start to finish. My name is Louise and I'm a self-taught cake artist and recipe developer. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the most delicious chocolate and raspberry mini cakes that are perfect for New Year's Eve. This video will teach you how to master 8 different entremet layer techniques. A crumbly cocoa Pâte Sablé cake base, a fudgy dark chocolate and raspberry brownie, a crispy cocoa and milk chocolate crunch, a delicate milk chocolate and raspberry ganache, a smooth raspberry broken gel, an airy milk chocolate mousse, a shiny milk chocolate mirror glaze, and a velvety milk chocolate cremeux. You can find the full recipe on my website, which you can access with a subscription. If you want to learn more about how to make elegant, layered and delicious entremet cakes, you can now check out my online course, Master Entremet Cakes at Home, where I show you how to create professional quality cakes from start to finish, right from your own kitchen. Inside the course, I teach you my 5-step formula that I use for all my cakes: cake base, crunch, creamy element, mousse and decoration. You'll also learn how to make 5 of my signature entremet cakes, different glazing techniques, discover recipe development and cake design, and also receive PDF troubleshooting guides and Excel recipe course material, giving you everything you need to start creating your own cakes at home. Alright, let's get started. Chocolate and raspberry is truly one of my favorite flavor combinations, as I love how the rich chocolate goes so well together with the more acidic and fruity raspberry. It's a festive flavor combination that makes these cakes perfect for New Year's Eve. I therefore knew that I wanted to include a layer with an intense raspberry flavor, and to get the most prominent and pure fruit flavor, I love using a broken gel. I'm building the cake insert layers upside down in order for them to fit in the insert mold that I'm using for the cakes, which is why I'm first making this broken gel. I start out by heating raspberry puree, sugar and agar-agar in a small saucepan for around 1 minute until the agar-agar has been cooked to be activated. I then pour the mixture in a plastic container where it needs to set in the fridge before we can blend it into a smooth broken gel. That is why we do call it a broken gel, because you set it as a firm gel first and then break it down into a smooth, creamy consistency. I put the gel in a piping bag and pipe approximately 1 cm layer of the gel in the insert mold. I tap the mold so the gel can distribute itself to get a straight surface. Then the gel needs to set in the freezer before we can add the ganache. For the next layer, I wanted to add something with a more firm consistency, which is why I decided to make a chocolate and raspberry ganache. I really love the texture of this ganache that adds a fudgy element to the cakes, and it also perfectly combines the milk chocolate and raspberry flavor. I start out by melting milk chocolate and pouring it in a bowl. I'm using milk chocolate instead of dark chocolate, as dark chocolate would take over the flavor too much and make the raspberry flavor less prominent. I then heat raspberry puree and heavy cream almost to a boil before pouring it over the chocolate. I stir to combine until the mixture becomes glossy, pour it in a tall jug, and hand blend to get a fully creamy consistency. I put the ganache in a piping bag so it's easier to fill the molds, and fill a 1 cm layer of the ganache in the molds. I again tap the mold so the layer can distribute itself, as that's the easiest way to get a clean cake cut in a small mold like this one. Then the ganache needs to set fully in the freezer before we can add the crunch layer.
Now that we have a smooth layer and a fudgy cake layer, the next layer of course had to be a crunch layer. This cocoa and milk chocolate layer doesn't only add some texture contrast, but it also has a rich cocoa flavor that adds a bit of a bitter flavor contrast to the other layers. I start out by melting milk chocolate and then mix in feuilletine, Nutella, cocoa powder and salt. The cocoa powder is what gives the crunch a slightly bitter flavor that pairs perfectly with the fruity raspberry layers. I fill around 1 small teaspoon of crunch in each cake mold to get a crunch layer that is around a half centimeter. I use a small teaspoon to level the layer to get a clean cake cut. Then the cakes need to set again in the freezer before we can add the last cake insert, a chocolate and raspberry brownie. For mini cakes, I always prefer including a cake base besides a pâte sablé or short crust cake, as I otherwise think that the texture becomes a bit too bland. To add a moist texture and to get an intense chocolate flavor for these cakes, I knew I wanted to include my very favorite brownie. This brownie is super fudgy, is a staple in many of my recipes, and this version has a fresh twist of raspberry. Since I wanted the brownie to have an intense chocolate flavor, I use 66% dark chocolate that I stir in melted butter. Then we whisk in sugar, eggs and a little flour and a pinch of salt. The fact that the batter is mixed with a hand whisk makes the batter super fudgy, which is exactly the consistency we're going for. I lastly add in some chopped milk chocolate to lift the bitter chocolate flavor a bit and pour the batter in a pasty ring. I then add frozen raspberries to the batter and bake the cake for 20 to 25 minutes at 180 degrees. Then the cake needs to cool off completely. Once the cake has cooled and fully set, I cut out small cake bases with a cookie cutter that's slightly bigger than the cake insert mold, as this will ensure that the mold is fully covered with the brownie. I try to cut out cake bases that each have at least 1 full raspberry in it. I use my hands to gently press down the brownie, where I ensure that all the sides of the mold are covered with the brownie to avoid air bubbles or unfilled places. Once all cake molds are filled with the brownie, the cake inserts needs to freeze fully overnight. For the mousse, I spent a long time thinking about whether to make a pure chocolate mousse or a combined chocolate and raspberry mousse, since these are the 2 flavor profiles in these cakes. Yet, I knew that the cake already had a lot of raspberry flavor due to the intense raspberry gel, and I also didn't want the raspberry to take too much focus, as that usually doesn't give a balanced flavor when mixed with chocolate. So in the end, I decided to go for a pure milk chocolate mousse. I make the mousse by first melting milk chocolate and pouring it in a bowl. I heat heavy cream almost to a boil, whisk in soaked gelatin that will set up the mousse, and pour the cream over the chocolate while stirring in the middle with a spatula until it becomes glossy. Once the mixture has cooled, I whip heavy cream to a light liquid foam with soft peaks and fold it into the cool chocolate mixture. I fill the mousse in the molds, while I fill each around 90% with the mousse. I then release the frozen cake inserts from the mold and gently place them in the chocolate mousse with the broken gel facing downwards. I clean the bottom with a small palette knife, and then the cake needs to set fully in the freezer overnight. To decorate the top of the cakes, I knew I wanted to make a Cremeux spiral, because I just love the look of a sleeky, clean spiral, and I just think that it looks festive for New Year's Eve. A Cremeux also has the most velvety texture, which I thought would fit perfectly with the other cake layers for these cakes. I was again debating whether to make a pure chocolate Cremeux or a mixed chocolate and raspberry Cremeux, but I here also decided to go for a pure milk chocolate Cremeux to balance the raspberry flavors inside the cakes. To make a cremeux requires prepping a few elements. First, I melt milk chocolate and pour it in a bowl. I briefly mix egg yolks and sugar in another bowl and put it aside. Then I heat heavy cream almost to a boil. Pour the hot cream over the egg/sugar mixture while whisking briefly to combine, and pour the mixture back in the pot while the cream needs to cook to exactly 83 degrees. Reaching this exact temperature is important to achieve a successful tempering of the cremeux, especially when making cremeux in a spiral, as an incorrect tempered chocolate won't come out of the spiral, as it simply won't be able to set enough. Once it's reached 83 degrees, I strain the cream, add soaked gelatin, and pour it over the melted chocolate while stirring in the middle with a spatula until it becomes glossy. Lastly, I add a bit of sea salt for flavor contrast and hand blend the cremeux to get it fully smooth. I filled the cremeux in a piping bag and filled the small spirals with the cremeux. The tricky part about this element is to make spirals without air bubbles. My best trick here is to remove air bubbles with a toothpick. I do this by running a toothpick around the pattern of the spiral and afterwards tapping the mold in the kitchen counter. Then the cremeux spirals need to set in the freezer for at least 24 hours, as they otherwise won't get out of the mold unless they're fully frozen. When making mini cakes like this, I prefer placing them on small Pâte Sablé cake bases, because it adds a crumbly texture, it gives the cakes a nice visually balanced look, and it also does make it easier to move them around and serve them to guests. Since we're making chocolate cakes, I decided to make a cocoa version of my Pâte Sablé cake bases. I make the Pâte Sablé by first mixing all-purpose flour, almond flour, icing sugar, lots of cocoa powder, and a bit of salt before I add cold grated butter. I mix the butter with the dry ingredients until the dough has a sand-like texture and there's no big pieces of butter left. Then I briefly, and only briefly, collect the dough with the egg, as we don't want to overknead the dough. We then roll the dough out between 2 pieces of baking paper and let it set in the fridge for around 2 hours. I cut out cake bases with a 6 cm diameter cookie cutter and place them in between 2 air mats to give the cake bases an elegant checkered pattern. I bake the cake bases for 12 to 14 minutes at 175 degrees until crispy. Then they need to cool off while we prepare the mirror glaze. Since this is a New Year's Eve recipe and I wanted a festive look, I of course had to cover the cakes with a shiny mirror glaze. I chose to make a milk chocolate mirror glaze without any added color, as I wanted the cakes visually to look like they taste rich and chocolatey. I make the glaze by first putting chopped milk chocolate in a tall jug. In a pot, I'm heating glucose syrup, sugar, water and heavy cream almost to a boil, whisking in soaked gelatin before pouring it over the chocolate. I mix with an immersion hand blender until the glaze is super glossy. Then the glaze needs to cool to 34 to 35 degrees before we can glaze the cakes. Once the glaze has cooled, I place the fully frozen cakes on a baking cooling rack and pour the 34 to 35 degrees hot glaze over the cakes. I use a small palette knife to remove the glaze excess and place the cakes on a Pâte Sablé cake base by using a palette knife and a meat needle. And then we are ready to make the final decoration. From the very beginning, when I decided to make these cakes, I had a strong visual idea about this cake design. It's a design I've been wanting to make for a while, but I knew that I wanted to save it for New Year's, as that's just really the time to go all in on the dessert. I'm here making chocolate swirls that will go on top of the cakes, and chocolate plates that I will place the Cremeux spiral on. I make the chocolate plates by pouring tempered chocolate between 2 large pieces of acetate sheets, level the surface with a rolling pin, and let it set in the fridge. Once it's set, I cut out plates with a 4.5 cm diameter cookie cutter. Since the size of the Cremeux spiral is larger than the chocolate plates, I knew it wouldn't give a balanced look to keep this size. I always work a lot with composition when creating cake designs, so to get a more well-dimensioned look, I use a hot 3.5 cm diameter cookie cutter to cut out the spirals while they are still frozen. I then immediately, as they very quickly defrost, place the spirals on top of the chocolate plates and place the plates on top of the cakes. Finally, we need to finish the chocolate swirls. I release the swirls from the acetate sheet and cut the swirls in smaller pieces with a hot knife. I then place pearls covered with pearl shimmer dust onto the spiral by dabbing a bit of chocolate on the swirl, placing a pearl and fastening it with cooling spray. I repeat this 5 times per swirl, so each swirl has 5 pearls. Finally, we can now place the swirl on top of the chocolate plate, ensuring that the swirl touches the edges and not the top of the Cremeux spiral. And here we have the final cakes that I'm so excited about. I really love this festive cake design that makes the cakes perfect for New Year's, and how all the flavors and textures in these small cakes are perfectly balanced to create the most luxurious dessert.
These cakes are the perfect combination of chocolate and raspberry, which is one of my very favorite pairings. We have a ganache where I have mixed the raspberry and chocolate. We have the broken gel giving that like very fresh kick of raspberry. And then we have a silky chocolate mousse that like perfectly rounds off the flavors. Truly the perfect festive dessert. I hope you get the chance to make these delicious chocolate cakes at home. And if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe. You can also check out my Entremet cake playlist here. I also want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been watching and supporting me this year. It really means the world to me, and I wish every single one of you a very happy new year.